She responds to your texts with one-word replies. She takes hours or even days to call you back, but still insists she likes you. Sound familiar? The truth is, when a woman isn't interested, she'll never tell you directly, but her actions will scream it. And once you see these 7 signs, you'll never chase the wrong woman again. Too many guys get trapped chasing women who've already made up their mind. They ignore the signs. They overthink the signals. And worst of all, they waste time and energy on someone who was never really in it. So if you've ever been confused about where you stand with a woman, this is for you. Pay close attention, because once you recognize these 7 behaviors, you'll never be unsure again. She doesn't say anything mean. She doesn't block your number or ghost you. She might even smile at your jokes, reply once in a while, or agree to meet up if you really push for it. But deep down, something always feels off. Like no matter how hard you try, you're the only one keeping things alive. It's confusing, right? Because she hasn't said no, but it never really feels like a yes either. That feeling is your gut picking up on something your brain doesn't want to admit. She's just not that into you. And whether you want to hear it or not, when a woman loses interest or was never really interested in the first place, she will almost never tell you straight up. Instead, she'll do certain things, small but obvious, that tell the real story. Most men miss these signs because they're too busy trying to win her over or make sense of mixed signals. But once you learn how to spot these signs for what they are, you won't waste your time, energy, or peace on the wrong woman again. Let's be real. When a woman likes you, she makes it easy. She doesn't play games, she doesn't leave you guessing, and you don't feel like you're trying to solve a puzzle just to get her attention. So when things start to feel confusing, that confusion is usually the answer. Still, most guys hold on. They think maybe if they wait longer, say the right thing, or just stay patient, she'll come around. But let me ask you something. When has chasing someone who's not interested ever really worked out in the long run? Has it ever actually made her fall for you? Probably not. Because interest can't be forced. And once you see the signs clearly, you stop trying to change someone's mind and start protecting your own energy. Think about this. You meet a girl, things seem cool at first. She texts back quickly. She laughs at your jokes, she seems into it. But then something shifts. She starts replying later and later. Her messages get shorter. Suddenly, she's too busy to hang out. And when you do see her, she seems distracted or distant. But you tell yourself, maybe she's just going through something. Maybe she's tired. Maybe work is stressing her out. Maybe she still likes you but isn't showing it the same way. That maybe becomes the trap. Because instead of facing the reality that her behavior changed because her interest dropped, you stay in limbo, trying to keep it alive while she's quietly checked out. And the worst part? She doesn't tell you what's going on because she doesn't want to feel guilty. She wants to keep you around, just in case she gets bored, lonely, or needs validation. Here's the first harsh truth you need to understand. If a woman wants you in her life, you'll never feel like you're chasing her. Her actions will make it clear. She'll respond fast, she'll make time, she'll put in effort. That's what real interest looks like. It doesn't leave you overthinking. It feels natural, mutual, and easy. If you find yourself wondering where you stand, that's usually your answer. It shouldn't feel like a guessing game. When a woman is into you, you won't have to ask yourself, does she like me? You'll know, because she'll make it obvious. And when she doesn't make it obvious, that's not an accident, it's intentional. She's creating just enough space to keep you on the hook, but not enough to give you clarity. A lot of women don't say no directly. Why? Because rejection feels uncomfortable for them. They don't want to hurt your feelings. They don't want to deal with your reaction. Or even worse, they don't want to lose the attention you give them. So instead of being honest, they slowly withdraw and hope you get the message. They'll still reply to your texts, but only when it's convenient. They'll keep the door slightly open, but never actually walk through it. They'll talk to you when they're bored, but never prioritize you. It's rejection in slow motion. And if you don't see it for what it is, you'll stick around waiting for something that's never coming. So what exactly does she start doing when she's not interested? It's not always obvious, but once you know what to look for, it all clicks. One of the first signs is her energy dropping without explanation. You'll notice it in how she talks to you. Her replies go from warm to cold. Instead of asking you questions or carrying the conversation, She gives one-word answers or emojis. She used to send long messages. Now you're lucky to get a K or a LOL. And yet, she still replies, just enough to keep the string attached. This is where most guys fall into the trap. They think, well, she's still replying, so she must still be interested, right? No, she's just keeping you in the background while she focuses on other things or other people. Another thing she'll do is delay or cancel plans. At first, she's excited to meet up. She agrees quickly, maybe even suggests things. But suddenly, plans get postponed. She starts saying she's tired. She had something come up. Her schedule is crazy. But when someone's into you, they don't let their schedule stop them. Even if they're busy, they'll find 10 minutes for a call. They'll show you they care. But when she's not interested, she'll keep pushing you off until you eventually stop trying. And that's exactly what she wants. She doesn't want the drama of telling you she's not feeling it. She just wants you to give up on your own so she doesn't have to be the bad guy. And here's the thing, some women won't pull away entirely. They'll still keep a thread of connection alive. Maybe she responds to your story. Maybe she likes your posts. Maybe she sends the occasional hey after 3 days of silence. But those tiny interactions aren't signs of interest, they're signs of control. It's her way of making sure you don't fully move on. Because if you did, she might lose the option. And that's what you've become, an option, not a priority, not someone she's choosing, just someone she's keeping around in case she changes her mind. You're the backup plan, the emotional safety net, the guy she can always run to for attention when she's feeling down, but never the one she's actually choosing to be with. Now, here's a truth that might sting, but it's also the key to freedom. If she wanted you, you'd already know. You wouldn't need to overanalyze texts. You wouldn't need to chase, convince, or wait. And if you're stuck asking yourself why she's acting this way, it's because she's already decided what you mean to her. The question is, are you ready to accept that? So you keep texting. You keep trying. You send funny messages, ask how her day was, suggest new plans, and every time she responds, even a little, it gives you just enough hope to keep going. That's the trap. You're not getting real connection. You're getting crumbs. She's not investing in you. She's just giving you enough attention to stop you from walking away. And the longer you stay in that space, the more your self-respect takes a hit. You start lowering your standards without even realizing it. What used to be unacceptable, her ignoring you for days, bailing on plans, talking to you like you're a bother, starts to feel normal. And that's dangerous because it reprograms the way you think about relationships. You start associating effort with desperation and silence with something you need to earn your way out of. But the truth is, no amount of effort can fix disinterest. That's not how attraction works. Let's talk about the silence for a second. When a woman stops initiating conversations, it says everything. She might still reply if you text her first, but if she's not reaching out on her own, that's your signal. Think about it. When you're interested in someone, you don't sit around waiting for them to talk to you. You're excited. You look for reasons to message them. You want to know what they're doing, how their day's going, if they're free to hang out. So when a woman doesn't make that effort with you, you have to stop filling in the blanks with wishful thinking. Because again, she knows what she's doing. She's just hoping you'll keep doing all the work so she doesn't have to feel the awkwardness of ending things herself. You ever notice how she always seems available when it benefits her? Like, she'll ignore 3 of your texts but suddenly reply when she's bored at home, or she'll disappear all week, but when she's out drinking, she hits you with a flirty message. That's not a coincidence. That's strategic. She's using you for validation. She doesn't want to be with you, but she also doesn't want you to forget about her. So she sprinkles in just enough attention to keep herself in your head. And if you're emotionally invested, it works. Every time you get a text from her, your heart jumps. You start thinking maybe things are changing. Maybe she's finally coming around. But by the next day, she's cold again. You're back to square one, wondering what you did wrong. And here's the twist. This cycle doesn't happen because she's evil or manipulative. A lot of the time, she doesn't even fully realize how much damage it's doing to you. But that doesn't make it okay. Intent doesn't erase impact. Just because she's not trying to hurt you doesn't mean she's not hurting you. You've got to start putting your well-being above her confusion. Because if you keep prioritizing someone who doesn't prioritize you, you're always going to end up frustrated, drained, and doubting your own worth. There's another thing she'll do when she's not really into you, and this one is subtle but powerful. She stops being curious about you. At first, she might have asked a bunch of questions, wanted to know your story, your dreams, what makes you tick. But now, you're the one always asking. You're the one carrying the conversation. She gives short replies, changes the subject, or doesn't ask anything back. That's because curiosity fades when interest fades. When a woman likes you, she wants to know everything, your opinions, your past, your quirks. But when she doesn't care, the questions stop. She's no longer trying to build a connection, she's just maintaining a vague line of contact. And if you're honest with yourself, you can feel the difference. Now you might think, but what if she's just shy? What if she's been hurt before? What if she's playing hard to get? Those are all common thoughts guys have when they don't want to accept the truth. And sure, sometimes people are shy, but shyness doesn't stop someone from texting you back consistently. Shyness doesn't make someone cancel plans over and over. And it definitely doesn't mean they show interest one day and act like you don't exist the next. If someone's shy but interested, you'll still feel it. You'll sense the effort, the warmth, the presence. If someone's emotionally guarded but likes you, they'll still make it known, just in their own way. But what you're dealing with here isn't shyness, it's avoidance. It's indifference disguised as subtle friendliness. And it's costing you your peace of mind. There's also the physical disconnect. Maybe you used to hold hands, sit close, kiss, whatever. But now, she pulls away, or avoids touch completely. Or she only lets it happen when she feels like it. And even then, it's quick, half-hearted, or clearly not leading anywhere. Physical distance is one of the biggest signs of emotional distance. And if that distance keeps growing, you need to stop telling yourself it's temporary. Because when someone desires you, they find ways to be close. When someone doesn't, they find ways to create space. And no amount of persuasion or sweet talk can change that if the desire isn't mutual. And you know what else she'll do when she's not interested? She'll subtly compare you to other guys, especially the ones she actually likes. She might not do it in an obvious way, but it's there. Maybe she brings up an ex and talks about how he used to surprise her, or she'll mention how some other guy just gets her. These comments are little jabs, whether she means them that way or not, and they're not compliments. They're subtle signals that you're not measuring up in her eyes. That's a tough pill to swallow, but it's better than lying to yourself, because every time she talks about another man with more admiration than she shows you, she's showing you where her mind really is. At some point, you've got to ask yourself, why am I accepting this? Why am I staying when the signs are so clear? And most importantly, what would happen if I pulled back and stopped chasing? You'd be surprised how quickly things become clear when you stop reaching out. If she really likes you, she'll notice your silence, she'll feel it, and she'll make an effort. But if she doesn't, she'll let you disappear, and you'll finally see how little you actually meant to her. It's painful, yeah, but it's also the truth that sets you free. There's something strange that happens when you finally go quiet, when you stop texting, when you stop initiating, when you stop bending over backwards just to get her attention. That silence, it creates tension, and tension is powerful, because for the first time, she has to sit with the space you used to fill. She has to actually notice your absence instead of taking your presence for granted. And this is where it gets interesting. Sometimes when a woman wasn't fully sure how she felt, your silence forces her to make a decision. But if she already knew deep down that she didn't really care, that silence just confirms it. Either way, you get clarity. And clarity is exactly what most guys avoid because it often comes with a price, disappointment. But here's the real truth. Being disappointed is better than being stuck, because being stuck makes you overthink everything. It has you rewriting every conversation in your head, wondering if you said the wrong thing, if you should have waited longer to text back, if you should have complimented her more or less. That kind of mental spiral is exhausting, and it makes you feel like you're the problem. But when a woman isn't into you, it's not about what you did or didn't do, it's about how she feels. And how she feels has more to do with her than it does with you. Maybe she's emotionally unavailable. Maybe she's still hung up on someone else. Maybe she just isn't attracted to you in that way. And that's okay. Attraction isn't always logical. But continuing to fight for her attention after all the signs are there, that's what actually damages your confidence. And don't forget how much body language gives her away. You might ignore it, but it's loud if you're paying attention. She used to look at you while you talked. Now her eyes are on her phone. She used to smile when you walked in. Now it's barely a glance. Her tone is flat. Her laughter feels forced. Her presence feels elsewhere. She might be physically in front of you, but emotionally she's gone. And you feel that emptiness, even if you're too proud to admit it. This is the kind of behavior that doesn't need an explanation. The absence of effort is the explanation. Let's go deeper. When a woman likes you, she finds excuses to connect. She'll send you random memes, tag you in posts, ask about something you mentioned last week. It's these little moments that show she's thinking about you. But when those disappear and it feels like you're the only one remembering the details, you're the only one checking in, you're the only one trying to keep the spark alive. It's not a spark anymore. It's a one-sided effort dressed up as hope. And what's worse is that she might not even see the imbalance because from her side, nothing's really changed. You've just made it easy for her to be passive. And when she doesn't like you, she doesn't think twice about putting you on hold. She'll cancel on you without guilt. She'll say, "I'm busy," like it's a valid excuse to avoid seeing you for weeks. But when she does like someone, she'll make time. She'll move things around. She'll stay up late. She'll drive across town. So when she starts treating your time like it's disposable, that's not just a red flag. It's a statement, and it's one you shouldn't ignore. You also have to pay attention to how she talks about the future. In the beginning, maybe she talked about concerts you could go to, movies she wanted to watch with you, places to travel. But now, nothing. No shared plans, no hints about seeing you again, no playful suggestions. It's all surface level. It's just, "How's your week?" Or, "LOL, that's crazy," with no substance. That shift in energy is a big deal, because when someone starts mentally exiting a relationship or even a casual connection, the first thing to disappear is vision. She no longer sees you in her future, even in a small way. She's just letting the present drag on without any emotional investment. And then there's the emotional avoidance. When you try to talk about where things are going, she brushes it off. When you ask how she feels, she says, "I don't know." When you want clarity, she says, "Let's just see what happens." These aren't answers. They're stall tactics. And you're not dumb for wanting honesty. You're just dealing with someone who doesn't want to say what's really going on. That she's not interested enough to commit, but not indifferent enough to cut you off. That's why the mixed signals happen. That's why the hot and cold behavior keeps you confused. It's not accidental. It's convenient for her. She gets your attention without responsibility. She gets your energy without accountability. And you get played gently. A woman who's not interested will never be upfront about it unless she's mature enough to handle the discomfort of confrontation. But most people, men and women, avoid confrontation like the plague. So instead, she slowly fades. She slowly disconnects. She slowly teaches you to expect less and feel grateful for crumbs. And if you're not careful, you'll start believing that this dynamic is what you deserve. But you don't. You deserve someone who's excited to talk to you, who doesn't flinch when you ask where things are going, who isn't afraid to be consistent. That's not too much to ask. That's the bare minimum. You want to know one of the strongest signs a woman isn't into you? She doesn't even try to impress you. No effort in how she talks to you. No excitement when she sees you. No thought into how she presents herself around you. And again, this isn't about vanity. It's about effort. When you like someone, you want to impress them, even just a little. You want to show your best self. You want them to see your value. So when she stops putting in any effort to stand out or show that she values your presence, she's showing you that she doesn't see you as someone she needs to win over anymore. And you know what really hurts? When you start realizing you were never really with her, you were just around. You thought you had something, but in her mind, it was never that deep. She never saw you as a priority. You were convenient. You were there. And when she finds someone she actually wants, she'll disappear without closure. Because in her mind, there's nothing to close. That's why it's so important to stop waiting for a final sign. The signs already happened. You just didn't want to believe them. There comes a point where you have to stop interpreting her silence as mystery and start seeing it for what it really is: disinterest. You can't keep convincing yourself that maybe she's just busy, or she has things going on, or she's scared of getting hurt. Because while all of those might be true, here's what's also true. When someone wants you in their life, they find a way to show up. Not perfectly, not every second, but consistently. You don't have to decode mixed signals when someone actually values you. They tell you, they show you, you feel it, you know it. And if you don't feel that, if you feel uncertain, drained, and confused more often than not, it's probably not what you think it is. It's not a connection that's complicated. It's not something that needs more time. It's someone who doesn't feel the same way. And that's painful to accept, but it's also freeing, because once you stop chasing someone who clearly isn't choosing you, you open yourself up to the people who will. You see, the biggest mistake a lot of men make is thinking they need to win her over by proving their worth. They think if they're just a little more patient, a little more funny, a little more successful, then she'll come around. But let me tell you something that could change how you approach everything from this point on. If you have to work that hard to convince someone to like you, they're not your person. The people who truly vibe with you, you won't have to beg for their attention. You won't have to strategize every text. You won't have to second guess every move. It'll just flow. And that doesn't mean there won't be effort, but the effort will be mutual. It will come from both sides, because they'll care, because they'll want to talk to you, because they'll get excited when your name pops up on their phone. And if that energy isn't there, if you feel like you're constantly being tolerated instead of celebrated, that's your sign. Not to fight harder, not to become better, but to walk away with your dignity. There's real strength in walking away when someone makes you feel like an option. There's power in going silent, not as a tactic, but as a truth. When your presence is no longer appreciated, your absence becomes a statement. And it's not about playing games, it's about having standards. It's about saying, I'm not going to sit here and wait for you to maybe like me someday. I deserve more than maybe. I deserve someone who sees me and chooses me without hesitation. And yes, that means letting go of the fantasy you built in your head. That version of her you created, the one who laughs at all your jokes, who texts you back right away, who kisses you like she means it, that version only existed in your mind. You have to stop holding on to who she could be and accept who she is right now. And right now, she's showing you, through her actions, her tone, her distance, that she's not into this, not the way you are. So take the hint, not as a failure, but as a redirection, because nothing is more unattractive than a man who stays too long where he's not wanted. And nothing is more magnetic than a man who knows when to leave. When you walk away from someone who doesn't value you, you're not losing anything. You're just making room for someone who will. Let her go. Not bitterly, not angrily, just peacefully. Let her walk her path, and you walk yours. Trust that the more you respect yourself, the more your world starts reflecting that back at you. Because self-respect doesn't attract indifference. It attracts clarity. It attracts real interest. It attracts women who don't just want you, they value you. So if you're wondering whether she's into you, ask yourself this: are you feeling chosen, or are you just hoping to be picked? If it's the second one, you already know your answer. And it's not about being petty or cold, it's about being real with yourself. And when you get real, you'll stop waiting for women to show you signs that should have been obvious from day one. You'll stop trying to be good enough for someone who barely sees you. And you'll start focusing on the people who meet you where you are, not just where it's convenient for them. This isn't about being harsh. It's about protecting your energy. It's about saving your time. Because you could spend months chasing someone who will never see you. Or you could spend that time leveling up, healing, building your life, and becoming so solid that the right woman doesn't hesitate for a second. She sees you, she respects you, she shows up for you, and she doesn't play with your time. So yeah, if a woman isn't into you, she will do these 7 things. She'll be distant, she'll be cold, she'll avoid real conversations, she'll cancel plans, she'll make you feel invisible, she'll stop putting in effort, and she'll leave you wondering. But here's the key difference. You don't have to keep wondering. You can just decide. Decide that you're done chasing people who make you feel small. Decide that you're no longer proving your worth to anyone. Decide that from now on, If it's not mutual, it's not happening. You don't need to beg for love. You don't need to force connection. You don't need to overanalyze every word she says. If it's real, it won't be confusing. And if it's not, you already know what to do. Watch this next video to learn what actually makes women chase men.